lot of news out of Washington this morning. That victory for House Republicans and President Trump repealing Obamacare with one vote to spare. The Senate up next. Expect big changes that could take some time. The Senate did pass the $1 trillion spending bill to keep the government running through September. It's now heading to President Trump's desk. And we're learning new details about President Trump's first trip overseas. First stop, a surprise, Saudi Arabia. He'll also head to Israel, Italy, and the Vatican. That's all later this month.
We'll have much more on that ahead. But first, we want to get to that big health care news. After the House passed a Republican bill, President Trump headed here to New York City for an event with the Australian Prime Minister, where he celebrated the GOP's success, but also faced a number of protesters. Our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, is here with more. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Robin, great to be here this morning. The protesters were right there to welcome President Trump home for this victory tour. But while he is celebrating his first big legislative win, there is still a long way to go. President Trump touching down on his home turf for the first time since taking office. And right there to greet him, hundreds of protesters lined Manhattan streets as the president drove by in his motorcade. Despite the noise outside, aboard the decommissioned USS Intrepid, the president was ready to celebrate. The First Lady there, too, for a black-tie dinner, along with Australia's Prime Minister. President Trump may be all smiles, but he raised some eyebrows when he praised Australia's publicly funded universal health care system just hours after declaring Obamacare dead.
We have a failing health care. I shouldn't say this to our great gentleman and my friend from Australia, because you have better health care than we do.
He's also praising Republicans for helping him win his first major legislative victory.
Republicans came together all of a sudden 2 days ago. It was like magic. They just came together. They're very, very united.
The president's victory tour starting earlier in the Rose Garden.
How am I doing? Am I doing okay? I'm president. Hey, I'm president. Make no mistake, this is a repeal and a replace of Obamacare.
After weeks of debate and arm twisting, Republicans in the House voted to fulfill their central promise to the American people.
Are we going to be men and women of our word? Yeah. Are we going to keep the promises that we made?
Yeah. They too were met with protests.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Democrats are also taunting Republicans, predicting the bill will cost them in the midterm elections. It's still not a done deal, but what this bill would do, end the Obamacare mandate that Americans have insurance or pay a penalty. Instead of subsidies, the bill gives tax credits to help buy insurance, and it rolls back the Obamacare expansion of Medicaid. It also lets states waive the requirement that insurers don't discriminate based on pre-existing conditions. And President Trump says he's feeling good about the prospect of the Senate passing this bill. He is hoping this leads to other legislative victories. Next up, they're looking at tax reform.
Yeah, hopes this gives him some momentum.